Welcome, listeners. Today's story is a gripping tale of patience, planning, and sweet revenge. Meet Sarah, a dedicated employee at a marketing firm who always put in her best. But when a manipulative coworker crossed the line, Sarah knew she couldn't just sit back and take it. This is the story of how she orchestrated the ultimate payback and won back her peace at work. Get ready for a satisfying ride. Sarah had worked in marketing for years, slowly building her career and earning respect within her company. She loved her job and had even made some good friends among her colleagues. But everything changed when Emma joined the team. At first, Emma seemed friendly and even sought Sarah's advice on the job. Sarah was happy to help, mentoring Emma and giving her tips on handling clients. But soon, Emma's true colors began to show. She was ambitious. Too ambitious, and didn't care who she stepped on to get ahead. Emma started taking credit for Sarah's ideas, presenting Sarah's hard work as her own in front of their boss. Sarah tried to be understanding, thinking Emma was just overly eager. But things quickly escalated. Emma would secretly undermine Sarah in meetings, subtly planting doubts in the boss's mind about Sarah's capabilities. She'd bring up Sarah's mistakes in front of others, twist details to make Sarah look unreliable, and even took it a step further by blaming Sarah for issues she'd caused herself. The tipping point came during a major project for a high-profile client. Sarah had spent weeks creating a strategic plan that could bring their team significant recognition within the company. But just days before the pitch meeting, Emma somehow got her hands on Sarah's plan. She presented it as her own, charming the client and impressing their boss, who praised her for her innovation. Sarah was furious and heartbroken. She'd poured so much into this project, and Emma had stolen the opportunity right from under her. It was then that Sarah decided she wasn't going to be Emma's victim anymore. She was going to fight back, but not in a way Emma would expect. Sarah spent the next few weeks carefully observing Emma's behavior, learning her patterns and understanding her weaknesses. She realized that Emma's biggest flaw was her overconfidence. Emma assumed she could manipulate anyone, and that would be her downfall. Sarah started her revenge by becoming what Emma thought was a friend. She subtly complimented Emma's work ethic and hinted that she admired her fearlessness. This flattery softened Emma's guard, making her think Sarah had finally accepted her as the leader of the team. But behind the scenes, Sarah was plotting her move. Emma often left her computer unlocked when she walked away from her desk, a big mistake. Sarah noticed this habit and decided to use it to her advantage. She waited until the right moment when Emma left her computer unattended in the middle of a client campaign. Sarah quickly accessed Emma's email and made a few small, subtle adjustments to her scheduled communications. These adjustments didn't sabotage the work, but planted minor errors that would slowly accumulate into a disastrous outcome. Next, Sarah created a series of documents containing inaccurate data and incorrect project timelines, subtly embedding them into Emma's project files. She made sure they looked legitimate, mixing accurate information with mistakes that Emma, in her arrogance, wouldn't bother to double-check. Sarah knew it was only a matter of time before these errors would surface. A month later, Emma was assigned a high-stakes project with an important client, the kind that could make or break her budding career. She was confident, borderline cocky, and assured everyone that she could handle it independently. Sarah watched from the sidelines, knowing exactly what was coming. As Emma moved forward with the project, the errors began to unravel. First, the client noticed inconsistencies in the data, which Emma couldn't explain. Then, her timelines didn't align with the promised delivery dates, leading to missed deadlines and client dissatisfaction. Emma tried to blame others, but since she'd insisted on handling everything herself, there was no one else to point fingers at. By the time the client threatened to pull out, it was clear that Emma was in deep trouble. Their boss was furious, holding Emma responsible for nearly losing the client. Sarah's plan was working, but she wasn't done yet. With Emma on the edge, Sarah took her plan to the final level. She had quietly collected evidence of Emma's manipulations over the months, emails showing Emma taking credit for Sarah's ideas, recorded instances of her bad-mouthing Sarah to clients, and even screenshots of messages where Emma had lied about deadlines. Sarah compiled all of this into a report, then sent it anonymously to her boss. She framed it as an internal tip from someone concerned about the integrity of the team, attaching the documentation as proof of Emma's unethical practices. The boss was shocked, not only by the manipulation but also by the extent to which Emma had sabotaged her own team. Sarah didn't stop there. She hinted to a few trusted colleagues that a report had been sent, ensuring that the story would spread quietly through the office. By the end of the week, everyone knew about Emma's deceit. Emma was called into a meeting with the boss, who confronted her with the evidence. She tried to deny it, but there was no way out. The report was thorough, and the boss knew she couldn't talk her way around it. She was immediately taken off all major projects, and her reputation was shattered. With her credibility destroyed, Emma was essentially sidelined in the office. She no longer received important tasks, was excluded from client meetings, and eventually decided to leave the company to escape the shame. As for Sarah, her patience and intelligence didn't go unnoticed. Her boss recognized her contributions and apologized for letting Emma's behavior go unchecked. Sarah was promoted to a senior role where she finally received the recognition she deserved. Sarah had won her revenge, but she did it without ever stooping to Emma's level. She proved that sometimes the best payback is letting someone's own actions catch up with them. Sarah's story became a quiet legend within the company, a tale of how patience and planning can lead to justice. In the end, Sarah found peace in her job once again, with her newfound authority and respect. And while Emma had moved on, she'd left behind a cautionary tale. Don't mess with someone who knows how to turn your own mistakes into your downfall.